It is an absolutely gorgeous afternoon here on Sunday. The ACC Network Extra's got a great one cooked up for you here in Raleigh from the Dail Soccer Stadium as we've got a top 25 matchup. The 16th ranked Wolfpack of NC State hosts the undefeated and 10th ranked Gamecocks of South Carolina. Hello everybody, I am Chris Hooks, joined alongside my broadcast partner here this afternoon, former Florida great Dina Floyd. And Dina, we're early in the season. This is the kind of matchup that coaches, players, fans, and everyone alike loves to see.
Yes, definitely a non-conference matchup that they both are definitely looking forward to on this beautiful day in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Well, we'll certainly see how it all shapes up. South Carolina entering the game at 3-0. Again, you look at that, they're 3-0, just beat Clemson the other night. 3 wins, all shutouts. Their 3 top scorers obviously returned from last year, but you look at the shutouts, it points to one person. It's the goalkeeper, Michaela Krasowski.
Yes, Michaela Krasowski is an awesome goalkeeper, seasoned as a junior, holding down that back line.
You look at Michaela, again, 3 straight shutouts. She needs 2 to move up to second all-time. She's 3rd in the NCAA in shutouts last season with 14. And that also points to how great their defense is as well.
Definitely a great defense, something that Coach Santoro talked about and said that that's something that they're going to have to break down early in order to be successful today.
As we look at NC State, they're 2-0-1 on the year. They did get Kia Rankin back the other day. She certainly will add some pop. Sierra King is the headliner for this team thus far.
Yes, 2 very dynamic players. Good to have Kia Rankin back, definitely after that goal that she scored the other night against ECU.
And as you can see on the bottom of your screen, they've won 8 straight games, and dating back to last October with that tie coming the other night against East Carolina. So we'll see how it all shapes up. We will take a timeout. The table is set. We're ready for the main course. Sunday afternoon showdown. NC State, South Carolina coming up next on the ACC Network Extra. Welcome back to Dail Soccer Stadium. Absolutely gorgeous afternoon. Temperature in the 80s. Great early season ACC SEC matchup. South Carolina, team that made it to the Final Four last year. And Dina, we talked earlier about how good they were. You know you're a good program when one of your freshmen has to go play for the Icelandic national team.
Yes, definitely.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. You can see the NC State starting lineup. Sydney Wooten certainly handles herself very well in the net for NC State, as they're in the white, as South Carolina in the garnet here this afternoon. Certainly glad you could join us right here on the ACC Network Extra. Again, absolutely gorgeous day. It's been a beautiful weekend here in Raleigh, as King and the Pack trying to certainly continue to build that culture that Coach Santoro has done a fantastic job. Maybe even get to the level that Shelley Smith over at South Carolina has as far as consistency. She's done an absolutely tremendous job there. In fact, you mentioned earlier she had just started at South Carolina when you were at Florida.
Yeah, and we had trouble in her earlier years when she was coaching there. She's definitely built this program into a powerhouse over the last 18 years.
I had a chance to talk to Coach Santoro earlier this week about this contest, and one thing that he really talked about was how good they were defensively and how NC State's really going to have to make something happen early.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to have to break them down early, all right, because if they don't score early, it's going to be hard to break that defense.
And so you can see both teams kind of working it around, trying to figure each other out. And Lauren Chang, just the player for South Carolina that missed the header attempt. She scored a goals in the last 2 games. As a sophomore, she's kind of come on strong. And that win against Clemson, she helped give them that lead as Paige Griffiths, the junior from Raleigh, as the ball carom off her and out of bounds to the near side. Interestingly enough, her sister on the South Carolina roster as well as a redshirt freshman. So we may see siblings collide here today. Wonder who the parents are cheering for.
It's going to be definitely going to be tough.
You know, you always see one parent wearing one and the other parent wearing the other shirt, you know.
Or a custom-made split shirt. You never know.
NC State getting into the zone here. Nice job by Rankin. And trying to get her and Blackwood open here.
So far, NC State's done a good job of holding the possession.
And see, here's Ricky Walkling. Tries an entry to the outside of the box. There's King. Centers one up. Nice job by Krasowski picking up the loose change there on the entry pass into the box.
And that's a good mix that you like to see now that Rankin's back in the mix after her first game playing against ECU the other night.
And there's Schuster working it back to Wooten. Wooten, the senior goaltender from San Diego. And both teams kind of feeling each other out here early. I know you mentioned earlier about NC State. What are you seeing here early from South Carolina?
It's still early, but I think right now, currently, until this moment, NC State's had the good possession in terms of being able to knock the ball around.
There's a challenge there by Chang. And Bonner able to stave her off. And now NC State with an opportunity here. A forward pass to King. King goes toe-to-toe with Malazzo. Nothing there, but NC State still with possession. Here's Griffiths. Griffiths out of Walkling. Walkling kind of playing the role that Lulu Gutenberger would play as far as touching the ball as much as Lulu usually does. Lulu working her way back from a bit of an injury. And South Carolina thwarts off that attempt there. As looks like there was a collision, they're going to call just a quick foul on Rankin, the junior from Bowie, Maryland. Guess you could say there was some obstruction as Jalissa Harris, the freshman from New Jersey, got tangled up. Here's Chang. Chang's got some real estate to work with here. Arcs it into the corner to Tanner. Tanner taking Selma Sol Magnusdottir's position here as, again, Selma called up to the women's national team in Iceland as they're playing in some World Cup qualifying matches. They're playing, I think, Germany and Czech Republic in Iceland. If you remember a couple years ago in the World Cup, Iceland made a run in the men's side. And then they just had a young lady return from the U20 World Cup on the England national team. Grace Fisk, she is here, but she's not going to play. Meaning here, it was believed that she is back in South Carolina. If she's watching at home, we say hello to her. Congratulations on her accomplishments playing for the English national team. It's just, and like I was telling you before, some of the talent that both these programs have, South Carolina included. I mean, when you get that call, you gotta head on out.
Yeah, coaches are super excited when their athletes can go and play for their respective national teams. Of course, they're sad to see them go, but it's a great opportunity for them.
Well, even, it's a recruiting tool.
Of course, yes.
Again, both teams kind of feeling each other out to this first 6 minutes. Certainly glad you joined us here on the ACC Network Extra. NC State with an opportunity to continue to build that culture. South Carolina looking to continue their hot start to the and Jack Schaefer, sophomore, work back to Krasowski. Tip of the cap to the folks here at NC State. Rachel Sager, Matt Curry, Josh Monk, Quan Wright, Jerry Wetzel, and William West getting this all set up. They have a lot going on here in the early portions of the athletic season. In fact, behind us right now, there's a volleyball match going on that they're having to work as well. So they have two broadcasts going on at the same time, so we thank them for all their hard work. There's Walkling. She's challenged. Kind of came up limp a little bit. Nice job there by Rebecca Cook, the two-time SEC honor roll.
Great switch of play.
We're about 8 minutes into this one. There's Jenna Butler, the freshman from Gainesville, Virginia. Up the field she goes. And NC State with an opportunity here. Outside the box. Centering pass to Blackwood. Blackwood tried to go to King. And it got away from her, but they still maintain possession. Good job there by Paige Griffiths to keep it in a zone. Here's King. King circles back around. With a 1-foot pass. Kind of a shift to Blackwood, a senior from New Jersey. Here's Schuster, scored the game-winning goal against Monmouth earlier this year. Schuster gets outside the box, centers it to King. King taps it, unfortunately, a little bit too far, and South Carolina thwarts off the attempt there as Simone Wark, a senior from Ontario, Canada, had it for a second. Now here comes Kia Rankin. Rankin trying to get the zone, centering pass to no avail.
Great buy by Ella Bonner to get King in. It was a good job on her turning, just a little bit too, I think, unselfish in terms of not being able to shoot that ball on goal.
And fast and furious here in this first 9 minutes. NC State, I think they know full well with a team like South Carolina, as good as their defense is, you've got to get on them early.
And you can tell right now that NC State, when they didn't have the ball, they had really, really high pressure, something that they're usually not doing. So I don't know if that's because they want to put their defense under pressure early and make them make mistakes, but I know I'm not used to seeing them play that high pressure in their defensive half.
So Lauren Chang, up the field she goes to Zulo, and that goes out of bounds. You know, it was interesting in my conversations with Coach Santoro as far as South Carolina went last year in the NCAA tournament. And just for me, just to kind of reference the talent of South Carolina and to tell you the talent of the SEC, I said, Coach, where does South Carolina stack up with the team you guys faced in the tournament last year in Arkansas? He said, well, Arkansas beat South Carolina last year in the SEC tournament. And you played in the league, obviously, like the ACC. It's just
anyone can beat anyone on any given day, especially when you're talking about SEC tournament. It's do or die, and you're trying to make the NCAA tournament.
So when you were at Florida, who was the thorn in the Gators' side?
Oh, boy. I would say Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia.
There's NC State getting a chance here. Nice block there by Cook. NC State with some nice passing just a second ago to try to get the opportunity as Kia Rankin's shoe fell off. And Jalissa Harris to askew. South Carolina's not letting her get her shoe back on, which in this instance she's not going to matter as far as the defensive side of things. You know, typically in soccer when someone's hurt, they'll kick it out of bounds and give it to the other team or whatever. So here's King on the loose change. Nice job off the block by Hannah Keogh. And so NC State retains possession. There's a pass up the field.
Ball.
Onside is King. King in a foot race as 3 South Carolina defenders get back. King lets one rip, and that'll be over the net. And a goal kick for South Carolina.
And that's like the ball that you like to see. Porter played that ball to King. Keeps him honest over top. She was able to get in behind. Good take on her part. Just not on frame.
In that situation, do you feel like that was a not being critical of King, but was that is that all she had open, or?
No, I think that was a good shot. I mean, she's shown that she can shoot from the outside.
Certainly.
So not a bad shot on her part. Just unfortunately, she just couldn't get it on frame.
Taylor Porter up the field to Blackwood. Blackwood returns it as State still trying to work it around. Riley Tanner did give chase. Now here's Porter again. Porter up the field she goes, past the midfield stripe to Rankin. Rankin has some real estate, works it to the near side. Here's King. King going around traffic. And she tried to get a pass into Griffiths, but South Carolina's defense right there. Here's Porter again. And that pass is knocked away. Nice job by Chang. Now Zulo. For a second, I thought she was going to try to take it all the way. Instead, gave it up. Now here's Griffiths. That one got away from her. And here comes a counterattack by South Carolina. Here's Zulo, the sophomore, getting outside the box. Zulo gets tripped up. Nice job by Bonner as they battle for it. No call there. We play on. And Zulo, you can see she's got that aesthetic tape on the back of her leg. And it looks like there's a bit of a handball near the midfield stripe. As we're about 14 minutes in here, Dina, and this looks like this could turn out to be a heck of a match here this afternoon.
Yeah, two very competitive teams, highly skilled teams, athletic teams competing against each other today.
Schuster centering pass in front of the net. Griffiths had a chance, but a good job there by South Carolina to get it out.
That was a great ball.
And here's the Gamecock attack. Tanner turned it around, but didn't see that she had a pack defender right on her. That was Porter that knocked it away. NC State trying again. It looks like they've really been trying to go to that far side of the field. Here's Schuster. Schuster up the field she goes, and Krasowski will just let it go short of the line. And she'll work it back over to the near side. And you look at the temperature, 84 degrees and absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if they are.
I don't know if they feel the wind down here, but I feel it up here. It feels great.
Yes, it's perfect. Usually if there is a game played during this time where we are, it can get hot.
Yes.
As the sun will, the way it works, it usually will go to our right. As you go later in the day, that's when it'll be in our face. But it's usually not like this.
No, I was sweating last game.
And that was a night game.
I know.
Here's South Carolina. Chang. And I mentioned earlier she's got goals in the last two games for Shelly Smith's squad. Shelly Smith in her 19th season in Columbia. As there's a deep pass that out of the reach, and NC State gets a goal kick.
Unfortunately, I don't think USC has quite found the rhythm yet. They've had a couple counterattacks, but they're not possessing like State is right now.
And one thing that Coach Santoro mentioned is a lot of times South Carolina wants you to make the mistake. As King. They trying to get to midfield.
Great job by Blackwood.
Good battle there.
Good battle on both parts.
Milazzo able to spring it free, and now South Carolina with it. That's a good no call there. Let them play.
Yeah, definitely. You can see that this game's going to be pretty physical on both ends.
Rankin, a little bit out of the reach of Rankin, or rather Blackwood to Rankin. Rankin will chase it down, and I think NC State's about to get a corner, and they will. There's a nice defensive play by Askew.
Yes.
But NC State now with a chance here, the first corner of the afternoon. So we're at the 17th minute. See who they task with taking the corner. It looks like Keogh will be the recipient of this opportunity.
Now I would think you want to test the goalkeeper with this first corner kick.
And so
put it in the mix.
It's up. A little bit off kilter. There's a header that goes just to the outside. And so South Carolina with the goal kick. And it looked like she had it a little bit off I don't know if it was her necessarily where she wanted to go. But either way, if you're just tuning in, Chris Hooks and Dina Floyd here.
And here we go again with that high pressure, even there, forcing them to make a mistake.
So here's Blackwood centering to Rankin. Good job by Cheng to knock that one away. If Rankin gets that, she's in the box with lots of room to maneuver. NC State now with possession, and I guess you could certainly say they've controlled it. I'd love to see the time on that.
Yeah, definitely have had the majority of possession, have had the majority of chances on goal as well.
Here's Schuster centering. Krasowski says, I don't think so.
Good direct ball in, but good job by Krasowski to come out and snag that one.
So here's the Gamecock attack. Great job by King. She challenged Cook there and won. So NC State keeps possession. Cook trying to make amends there. And here's a kind of a lead pass to Schuster. Schuster getting around Askew. Schuster gets it away from Askew. Schuster into the box. Rankin whiffs on the attempt. And now Harris up to Chang. And a good job there by Porter to knock it away.
And that last play is what Schuster's really good at. She's good at getting in the attack. She scored a goal against Monmouth in OT. She's really good at receiving that ball, getting a cross in, or even shooting it.
So there is a sub in for South Carolina. Paige McCullough, a 5'3" freshman from Rittboro, Pennsylvania. She's played in all 3 games thus far, played 57 against the College of Charleston as far as minutes, 47 minutes the other night against Clemson. As far side of the field getting some action here. Walkling still has it as it was carrying back to her from Askew's foot. Now Bonner, NC State trying to work it down the near side. Coming up on the 25-minute mark of this one, still scoreless. NC State credit with 3 shots thus far. I don't know if, I guess you could say any of them were technically on goal.
Not yet.
And so King, certainly the headliner for this team. Love to see her get loose. That's one thing Coach Santoro was really wanting this year, and he felt like he's got that with Blackwood and Rankin now back. He's got enough punch around up front to be effective, where it's not all on King to have to score. And there's a bounce off of Schuster that almost cost her. Zulo didn't necessarily handle it well there. And Rankin. NC State again working it near side. 2 top 20 teams here this afternoon. And there's a whistle, or rather a flag being thrown up for offsides by the assistant referee, and that'll stop play momentarily.
King came from offside position to collect that ball.
I know that the SID for South Carolina was talking to you, Dina, about your alma mater losing the other day in upset fashion.
Yeah.
And in fact, I don't know what I was doing, but I remember seeing that on the bottom line and thinking of you. It's like, oh boy.
Yeah,
Ohio State beating Florida the other day.
I didn't get a chance to see it, but they were away and lost it on the road.
Florida ranked 5th in the country. As Zulo saves it from going out, but NC State able to get possession back. Here's Porter. As Blackwood bodied up. Nice job there by McCullough. And now South Carolina with a chance. Here's Tanner charging in.
Way to come out, Wooten.
And
good stop.
The official, referee or rather, comes in because Tanner comes in cleats up on Wooten. And you actually could see a piece of turf that came up. Hopefully Wooten's okay. So Zulo. Again, you just you notice it on that last series there, Dina. South Carolina had been toiling around. Next thing you know, Tanner has it in front. A couple substitutions here.
Yes, in terms of counter, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah, they're definitely able to capitalize on their counterattacks.
So Alexa Barr, the young lady that is one of the young ladies that is entered in here. Alexa Barr again, a Buford, Georgia product. Saw her first action the other night against Clemson last year. Had a career best 17 points for Shelly Smith's squad. As Chang challenges Bonner, and it goes out of bounds. NC State will have the throw in. As Jalissa Harris does a good job there. And trying to see who the other sub was for South Carolina. And that was Bianca Galassini, who is the other sub, a Frankfort, Illinois sophomore, made her first career starts this year. She has 4 career goals here at South Carolina. So South Carolina has gone to the bench in this one. And you commented earlier about how many young ladies they have on the sideline.
Yes, they have a squad at this game.
As King, back turn, gets knocked down. And it'll be Makula. And I think Makula may have injured herself colliding with King. And she will have to walk it off. We had an interesting conversation with Zierra King's father, who came by and said hello. Super nice guy.
Yep, makes sense because King is really nice and humble as well.
He was very appreciative of some of the things that the broadcasters have been saying about King, and she has certainly earned it throughout the times that I've done games here. And hopefully Makula can get back in this one. She seems to be writhing in pain, unfortunately. So we're up on the 20-minute mark coming up here in this first half. Still scoreless. Who's going to budge first? NC State has had more opportunities, but I would say South Carolina's have been somewhat more of quality on their counters. So Madison Klein coming in for NC State. Klein, the freshman from Yorba Linda, California, will come in for Ella Bonner. Recorded her first career assist against Navy earlier this year. And here's the free kick. And it's knocked away by South Carolina, and they'll have a counterattack here. Paige Griffiths trying to chase down Zulo. And they'll get it up the field to Galassini. And it'll stay in possession of the team in Garnet. Here's NC State's Griffiths heading it back towards Chang. Chang on a dime stops.
Nice little turn by Chang.
And Chang certainly come up big lately for the Gamecocks. And that one nearly saw Blackwood intercept that pass. King challenging on the near side. Good job there for her. Now NC State with a chance to make something happen here. Here's Walkling. Walkling.
Great ball.
Kind of a through pass to Schuster. Schuster up to Blackwood. Give and go now.
Well done.
Back to the right side. To the far side. Rankin, or rather Blackwood, had it blocked. But NC State certainly did a good job of getting in there. But Milazzo not paying attention, lets it go out of bounds, and NC State will have the throw in.
Gotta love that 1-2 by Blackwood and Schuster that got Blackwood into play.
So Schuster with the throw in on the far side. Here's Rankin. Rankin to Schuster with a seam. Blackwood outside the box. Centering to Schuster. And NC State with a chance to make something happen here. Here's King, top of the box. Here's Walkling, shot blocked. As she unleashed one from about 40 feet out. Here's Klein, one of the top freshmen for Coach Santoro. Here's Schuster. Schuster to Rankin. Rankin tips it forward. And that's going to be cleared out underneath Chang, unfortunately. Now NC State again. Here's Griffiths lobbing it into the box to King. King can't get free.
Good idea by Griffiths, seeing that opening with King running in.
And so Porter playing keep away from Galassini. Now Walkling, as we're coming up on the 18-minute mark. Walkling, all sorts of real estate. Walkling to King. King's got room. King shoots. She scores! No, it will not count. I think there's going to be an offsides.
Offsides on King. Pretty close.
And that would have been a big goal. Unfortunately, King called for offsides.
Good idea on NC State's part. Just a little bit offsides on King.
And again, that doesn't show where she was offsides. But that was a good replay there to show the quality pass by Griffiths. And NC State just trying to get that first goal. And they've certainly been chopping away. Here's Harris. So he tries a lob down the near side. NC State there. And they'll say it went off of NC State, so South Carolina will have it. Here's a few more substitutions. One sub in for South Carolina is Amanda Martin, number 2, a freshman from Miami, Florida. She'll see some action here. And the other, Claire Griffiths, the sister of Paige. And also another sub in is Meredith Christopher, a sophomore transfer. So Paige's sister getting some action here as a redshirt freshman.
Both from Raleigh, North Carolina, went to Millbrook High School.
As we come down this final stretch of this half, you think NC State, if your coach Santoro keeps doing what they're doing, so to speak, or do you kind of sit back? What do you think?
No, I think they're doing awesome. Like in terms of possessing the ball, being able to break them down in the final third. Unfortunately, that last ball into King was offsides, but that's exactly what they want to do.
Schuster, nice challenge there. Gets NC State the ball back.
And
Rankin.
Schuster's been able to get in the play a lot. She's been able to get in the attack. So they keep continuing to play. I think South Carolina needs to step up a little bit and figure out what they want to do offensively in terms of their attack.
Rankin shoots, and it'll carry them out of bounds. Another corner for NC State. As we take a look at the replay at the close goal that King scored. Here's where she was offsides. Again, right there, you can see it. She is way off there. And that cost NC State a chance to take a 1-0 lead, but they have another opportunity here as Keogh, she'll take it here. Keogh, that one's lifted. That one will be nudged over the net, unfortunately, and another goal kick for South Carolina. And it seems like NC State's been veering away from the penalty kick box, so to speak.
Yeah, both times they're able to get a volley or one-time kickback on a header. Just needs to be on frame.
And that one will go out of bounds. It looks like NC State will have a few subs themselves. And so Michaela Van Manen in for NC State. The junior from Woodbridge, Virginia. And Manen injured all of last year. Did not play. There's another pass up the field that Schuster gets in front of.
NC State has been really successful with their long ball on both sides.
And Anna Tui, another new player in for NC State. She was the one that nearly got to one in the box. Here's Chang. King does a good job of tracking that one down. Schuster, lots of space, can take her time. She'll survey the field. Here comes Griffiths. Tui keeps it in. Good job of body positioning for her. Up the field she goes to Griffiths. Griffiths trying to get around the corner here. Cut off by South Carolina's defense, but here's King. King, can she get in the box? She'll pass it back out. And now NC State will try to get it to the other side quickly. Here's Walkling. There's Van Manen. Van Manen thought about a shot. Here's Walkling. She'll shoot. That's just above. Missed by Owiska. And it'll be a goal kick for South Carolina, but NC State certainly trying from long range here this afternoon.
Yeah, and that's another good take. Walkling's shown that she can shoot from outside. She's able to test the goalkeeper there and keep her honest.
So NC State, look at that. 7 shots to nothing. King. Under 12 minutes here in this first frame. Been a heck of a matchup between two teams that are ranked. In one poll, I saw South Carolina was ranked 5th. As that one is headbutted out of bounds on the far side. Jackie Schaefer, she's been someone that's been in the mix all afternoon.
Yeah, she definitely has done pretty well this game.
Schuster. There's Van Manen. Now Tui. Try to get it to Van Manen, but South Carolina was very well defended in that situation. Here's a skew on the near side. A skew. We'll clear it back to Krasowski. Now here's South Carolina's chance to counter with possession. That'll be a volley. Schuster right there on the spot. Chang bodied up by Griffiths. Flying through as a skew. Got it away from Walkling, but Walkling will chase it down.
I think South Carolina right now is struggling to possess with NC State's pressure.
As Galassini and Walkling, I think that was Walkling who collided. She's still down on the ground. Hopefully she's okay. And she will gather herself. You see Griffiths used that opportunity to get herself some rehydration. Fluids are very important, even though it isn't in the 90s like it usually is on this day. It's still in the 80s. But it's not as humid.
Not as humid, but it hasn't been humid all week, so it's a little bit hotter than it was the last few days.
And there's a bodied up attempt by South Carolina going awry. Here's Tui up the field to Van Manen. NC State with a chance here. Centering, and that'll be Out of bounds. Another corner kick for NC State as they're knocking at the door again.
You got to love how freshman Tui plays. Since she's come in, she's been super dynamic up top. She's quick. She's able to get the balls, and that was a great pass, enabling her teammates to get a corner.
It looks like Keogh will take this corner once again as we're under 9:30 in this first half. NC State trying to get on the board against a top 10 team in South Carolina. Here it comes. It's tipped up. There's an open net. And just missed. Wow.
So each time NC State's been able to get a foot on the ball for the corners. South Carolina's got to be worried about that.
And I was trying to see who took the shot as it bounced right. I think that was Griffiths who used her off foot, used her left
outside
foot.
of her foot, yeah. Doesn't matter what you use as long as you get it on net.
And she almost did. That's the second shot on goal for NC State. And King will keep it in play right in front of us. And there's some major physicality there. And I think that's going to be a loss of 2 on the play, second down.
We've seen a lot of that this game already.
That was Alexa Barr, who also, just like Grace Fisk, was on the Ecuador U20 team. 8 minutes to go. And South Carolina also bringing into the contest
Good tackle on Schuster's part.
Ryan Garris. Here's NC State. That's the new player in. That one just out of the reach of Emma Van Manen, and Krasowski will body it down. Again, Garris on the far side.
Again, the pressure on NC State part is forcing USC to cough up the ball.
This is her first minute of action. Garris, just to kind of tell you her quick story, first minutes of action here in 2018. Last year against Stanford, tore her ACL. You can see she's still wearing the knee brace on her left knee. And it looks like we may have another sub, a turnover. Almost. NC State able to keep it alive as Madison Klein chased it down. And we're down to 6:45 to go in this first half. Still scoreless. NC State has possessed the ball much more thus far. But South Carolina's defense has been able to hold them off. Here's Walkling. Walkling goes up the field. Tui's got some space. She's onside. Tui, one player to beat. Tui hesitates, centers, and that will carry him right into the midst of Krasowski.
Good idea on Tui's part to take that player on. Awesome job. Just unfortunate on the cross.
There's Chang. And a heck of a ball game thus far. And that one will trickle out of bounds, belonging to the Wolfpack. As Keogh, that's everybody gets set. You can see Walkling in the middle of the field with a little bit of a limp. As Klein back to Keogh. There's Van Manen. Sure, coach has been happy what he's seen from her here early.
Yeah, she's just a solid player in the center of the park.
Here's Porter. Paige Griffiths. Also, another subs for South Carolina, Francis Ann Matisse in the contest, the freshman from Dallas, Texas. He's seen action in all 3 matches. Here's a long pass, far side. Tui back from Schuster. Tui. Now Schuster. Schuster cuts back in. And Schuster, touch pass. That one veers off to the outside.
That's about the same spot where she scored at in the Monmouth game. Good take on her part.
So more substitutions here for South Carolina. As you can see, next time we will be broadcasting here from the Dail Soccer Stadium. NC State will host George Washington on September 6th. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff. We'll have it for you right here on the ACC Network Extra. Coming up on 4 minutes to go. So Kristen Perry, the freshman from Acton, Maryland, is in, along with another freshman, Gina Giovinco, and then Sutton Jones, a freshman in the lineup as well. Jones from Fort Mill, South Carolina. So a lot of substitutions by South Carolina here in this first half. So everybody that rode the bus has certainly got some action here. NC State has not made as many subs to this point. And I wonder, you have to wonder if that's going to make an impact later on.
I don't know. I mean, they've played a couple of OT games. So I'm pretty sure that Coach Ventura has a good feel on what he's doing sub-wise. And it's not as hot as it usually is. So right now they look strong.
Here's Griffiths on the loose ball that caromed her way. We're down to 3 minutes to go in this first half. NC State with 10 shots. South Carolina has not been credited with one yet. Here's a centering pass to Van Manen. That goes over her head. Tui gets it in the box. Cleared out by the Gamecocks. Here's a shot from way downtown.
Good strike.
Just missed by Owiska.
All NC State strikes from outside the box have been great. Just not on frame, but still testing the keeper.
Madison Klein put the charge into that one. I mean, she just ripped that one. So Schuster taking a seat for NC State.
Schuster did a great job in the first half, getting up and down defensively and offensively. I think they're just giving her a little bit of a break before the half so she can get her legs under her for the second half.
So Mia Tejitt, the freshman from Charlotte, getting some action for Coach Santoro's squad. And now there's quickly seeing her getting thrust into the mix as a nice job there by South Carolina's Ryan Garris to get the penalty kick. That'll be, or not the penalty kick, the corner kick. Let me correct myself there. That'll be their first of the afternoon, and it took about 43 minutes and change for that to happen.
USC wants to seize this opportunity, and NC State definitely wants to hunker down and not allow anything in the net in the last 2 minutes.
And you're seeing a big difference in how they're setting up in their formation. Here's the corner. They're battle for it. Nice job by Wooten to punch that out. Whistle blows, and they're stopping the clock. And Wooten seems like she's fine. She has to fix her. Kind of had to readjust her hair. I mean, she came in there pretty vigorously.
Right. You got to love her aggressiveness as a goalie. That's what you want.
Certainly not afraid to mix it up. So a minute to go here in this first half. Don't go anywhere. We'll go through the stats and the highlights of this first half. Also kind of break down where both these teams rank. And we'll let Dina give us her tidbits of knowledge on what both teams should do. And there's Madison Klein with a rare mistake by NC State here in this first half. Down to 30 seconds to go. Both teams better, again, just have to stay focused and not give up a goal here. That'd be heartbreaking for either one. And there's Porter clearing it out very nicely. And now Jackie Schaefer will work it to Ann Matisse. Garris had her pass intercepted. 10 seconds to go. And NC State and South Carolina are on their way to a scoreless but entertaining first half of action here. If that doesn't give you a taste of what it's going to be like in this second half, I don't know what will. NC State and South Carolina through the first half of action, scoreless here in Raleigh. We'll have the halftime action for you right here after this on the ACC Network Extra. It's beautiful here in Raleigh on Sunday afternoon. We're at the half, scoreless, as South Carolina and NC State battling here in ACC SEC action. Chris Hooks and Dina Floyd. And Dina, as we take a look at the first half highlights, not a ton of them, but some of them were very interesting. NC State obviously very aggressive, out shooting South Carolina early. What did you see?
I think NC State definitely had the run of play, possession-wise and getting in the final third. They were able to get in the long ball and attack their defense, and possession-wise, they were capitalizing on South Carolina.
And this goal right here did not count because King was offsides. And, again, this game, certainly both these teams are playing as hard as they can. You see a couple injuries by both teams, and then there's a missed attempt by Griffiths. And then, again, NC State coming really close a couple of times. Sydney Wooten getting in on the act, as NC State and South Carolina are scoreless at this point. But, again, stat-wise, you look at it, 11-0 as far as shots. If you're Coach Santoro and you're getting 11 shots on South Carolina, you got to be pretty happy.
Yeah, I think Santoro should definitely be happy. Obviously, he would be a lot happier if they were up by a goal, but I think they need to keep doing what they're doing. South Carolina, on the other hand, needs to figure out how are they going to get out of NC State's pressure on defense and get on the attack in their final third.
We'll see if that is the case here moving forward. Is again NC State. But is there maybe a thought, too, that Santoro may be a little worried they've gotten this many shots and haven't converted?
I don't think so. I think for him, both teams have scored in the second half. So, you know, they've gone to a couple overtimes. They've shown that they can beat teams in the second half in OT. So you can't be upset when you're playing a team like South Carolina and you haven't scored yet.
Well, we'll see how that all shapes out here throughout the rest of this ball game. We'll take a timeout, come right back. Second half coming up soon. You're watching the ACC Network Extra. We're scoreless through the first 45 minutes of play here in Raleigh, Dail Soccer Stadium, South Carolina, and NC State tied up, knotted up at Zilch. Take a look at the preseason coaches poll for the SEC. See Dina Floyd's alma mater sitting atop. And then South Carolina picked fourth in this league. And, again, you're going to see a lot of those teams, probably the first half of that in the NCAA tournament, as good as that league is.
Yeah, the preseason poll is what it is. You know, it's what you think it's going to be, but it really doesn't matter too much. South Carolina's undefeated, and Florida actually lost the other day against Ohio State.
Well, and then you look at, again, they're picked fourth. They're a team that went to the Final Four
Exactly,
last year.
yes.
Again, it shows you how good that conference is.
How strong it is, right.
And, again, you can certainly see the product on the field showing that here. And then you look at the ACC. NC State picked fifth in the preseason coaches poll. Again, that league, Carolina, Florida State, Virginia, Duke, just quality teams left and right.
Right, all the way down to, honestly, the last team. Anyone can win at any point in time.
Well, we'll certainly see how that all kind of shapes out. Again, NC State is looking good to start. You look at both these teams, again, just the power of both these conferences. You look at all the teams that are in the top 25. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the top 25 teams in the country come from the ACC and the SEC.
Yes, and that says a lot, and it even says more about this matchup today.
Well, we'll see again. Still a lot to go here as NC State and South Carolina have yet to break the seal. We'll see who does that in the second half. We'll get you ready for that second half right after this on the ACC Network Extra. We got a good one cooking here in Raleigh. Second half action just about set to begin. Chris Hooks broadcast partner Dina Floyd. 0-0, 0-0. Two teams in the top 25 battling here to see who can keep it moving as far as wins go. Dina, while we got a second, let's talk South Carolina. What do they need to do in this second half to break through?
I think also they just need to simply keep possession of the ball. If they keep possession of the ball, they're going to get more chances on goal, and then they'll be able to play their style of play that they want to play.
NC State.
NC State needs to keep doing what they're doing and obviously get more shot attempts on goal. They were able to get shots off, but they weren't necessarily on frame.
And so here we go. Lauren Chang clearing it deep into NC State's territory. And a goal kick literally 9 seconds into the second half as South Carolina played 21 players in that first half. NC State only added 4 subs as opposed to the 10 that South Carolina used.
And that's not something that South Carolina hasn't been doing. They've been subbing a whole lot, so that's something that they're used to doing.
And that just, again, I think this is nothing to compare to NC State, but Coach Smith has a philosophy.
Right.
And, hey, you know what? You come here, you're going to play. You're going to get a chance. It may be 5 minutes. It may be 10 minutes. We'll see how they – again, we kind of set the scene here. Dail Soccer Stadium, NC State, South Carolina. And here's Keogh getting a chance here on the far side. Here's King sitting back. Now Walkling, who's kind of been the straw that stirs the drink, trying to get it into the box. Unsuccessful there. Kia Rankin, the young lady, trying to get it in. And this is the 7th meeting between these two teams. South Carolina 5-1 all-time against NC State. Last time these two teams met was 2016. And that was a banner year for both programs as South Carolina did beat NC State 3-0, but they were the first school that season and in SEC history to go unbeaten in the regular season, 17-0-1. They made it to the NCAA Elite Eight that year.
And that says a lot, too, because NC State made it to the Sweet 16 that year. So both teams coming off, again, 2 awesome years for their program in 2016 and 2017.
And you're certainly seeing 2 heavyweights battle here this afternoon. Thing is, they both have thrown some haymakers. Some have hit, some have not. But who's going to land the first big blow? That one's over the head of Blackwood, and now South Carolina with a chance here. Cook had it for a second. Now she'll get it back. Here's Harris. Harris. That one saved back in by Simone Wark. Wark battling for it. Wark falls down as she was battling Keogh. That's a play-on situation. Here's Klein getting the start here in the second half. Klein had a nice shot from about 40 feet out. That one just a bit high. That one intercepted by South Carolina as the team in Garnett now with it. And they're working all the way back. Lazo. Far side she goes to Pinkham. Haven't said her name a ton here today. She's the junior from Cornwall, New York. There's Walkling. Walkling. King. Back to Walkling. Walkling.
Great ball.
Go near side. And that one chipped out. Chipped out of bounds by Francis Ann Matisse, who will start the second half. And we're about 4 minutes in, still scoreless in this 7th matchup between these two. Paige Griffith circling around, gets it to the outside. Rankin, shot blocked as she tried to center it. Blackwood has it in the box. She shoots. She scores! How she got that off, I don't know, but the Pack have struck first, and that's a big one. We talked earlier, Dina, this is something you have to do against South Carolina.
Yes, definitely. Awesome job by Rankin to stay involved on that play, and great finish by Blackwood to also was down and get back up and have a shot on goal.
Again, watch the great replay. She falls down, gets up, and sneaks one by. That's the first goal given up by Krasowski this year.
Honestly, I can't say I'm surprised after NC State great play in the first half. All they needed was just a goal.
So Maxine Blackwood gets the goal. Rankin with the assist. And so NC State off and running here. Here's King on the give and go. King finds Rankin. Rankin tripped up as Francis Ann Matisse cut her off, intercepting a pass, and it'll go out of bounds. It'll be South Carolina with the throw in here. And Francis Ann Matisse having to go quite a ways to get that the ball. The ball girls, it was in the area where neither one of the young ladies were camped out. So she will get the throw in on the near side of us. And now NC State, as Blackwood scored her 6th career goal just a minute ago. And now South Carolina with a chance. Here's Riley Tanner. Tanner finding Zulo. Zulo centering. Great job there by Wooten. And Wart goes flailing almost into the guardrail behind the goal, as her and Jenna Butler got tangled up. And so here's Wooten. And that will go out of bounds. That'll belong to NC State. There's Walkling. It's beaten to the ball by Chang. And now South Carolina with it. No. Madison Klein takes the ball away. She'll try a counter. Klein up the field. That goes off the foot of Schaefer. And I think they called a handball there. And NC State now with a free kick.
This is a dangerous spot for a free kick. Not quite a shot, but able to get runs in.
So, quick pass by Walkling to Klein. Klein settles it. King in the box. King trying to get around. She does so. Centers it. Rankin had a guard for foot. Blackwood shot blocked. Stays in the box. Griffiths circling around. And good job there by the defense for South Carolina. Milazzo did a good job of keeping Griffiths away from it. And instead of it trickling out of bounds for a corner, it's a throw-in for NC State. There's Walkling. She keeps it off the carom. Walkling getting into the corner. And now Walkling trying to work a corner herself as her and Matisse battle. And that goes off of Walkling's foot. And it'll be a throw-in for the Gamecocks.
NC State definitely has USC on their heels right now after that goal, continuing to possess and getting the attack.
There's Blackwood. Had to go off her foot. She was trying to spin it around, but was not successful there. No, and they're moving her back. I thought for a second they were changing who it went off of. As NC State, if you're just tuning in, leading 1-0. Maxine Blackwood with a goal, her 6th career. She's now got a goal and assist this year. And a good job there as Simone Wark nearly took that away from NC State, and she would have been all by herself with all that momentum. A good job there by Jenna Butler cutting her off. And there's a challenge that is won by South Carolina. Here's Tanner. Tanner. Good job by NC State's
tackle.
Taylor Porter to cut her off.
Great tackle by Porter.
Tanner was one step away from getting an open look in front of the goal, and that'll work a corner kick for the Gamecocks.
That definitely could have been an opportunity on goal, but that tackle by Porter was key.
And Akela Krasowski imploring her defenders. Everyone is up. Krasowski is standing nearly at midfield as King heading it out. Good job there, standing with her arms wrapped around the post. That's what they taught. They teach the young
from day one.
From day one, you hug that post, and that was King's job there. Here's Chang. Chang has a goal in the last 2 matches. She tries a centering pass. It goes over the foot of Butler. Still in the box, belonging to South Carolina. Blackwood mishandles it, and now South Carolina with a chance. Zulo shooting one, and it trickles off a Wolfpacker. And another corner kick for the Gamecocks here with 35-27 to go.
Great charge by USC this last minute, giving them a couple opportunities at the corner.
And Wooten will await as it looks like that's Wark taking the corner. Here it comes. And that one's nearly headed in. Good job there by Wooten. At least not touching it as it was bouncing past her. And it looked like that was Milazzo who got a head in on it.
Yeah, that was a good ball in. One of those balls that keepers don't like.
Very high.
High, and they're not quite able to get out to and punch out.
So South Carolina certainly turning up the pressure here as we come down to the final 35 minutes. And so Wooten will finally let her rip after the official telling her to hurry up. Here's Walkling, tips it up the field. As Lauren Pinkham was able to work it to the far side. Ann Matisse, Francis Ann Matisse that is, as there's a collision. As Schuster and Zulo getting tangled up, so it'll be a free kick for South Carolina.
And you can see NC State is not letting up on the pressure defensively because that's where they've been so successful.
Yeah, Paige Griffiths and Zulo battling. It's a free play. Both of them are at fault. Schuster, nice job on Tanner. As Schuster telling the young freshman, I'm going to outwit you there. So here's Griffiths. That one will carry him out of bounds and belong to NC State right in front of us. So NC State scored first. South Carolina certainly had some chances. Here's Walkling. She's done a tremendous job today controlling her portion. Here's Porter.
She's so good on the ball. I said it a couple games ago when I watched her play in the first home match, and she's just great at just controlling the ball, so composed, able to play those passes through.
Good job there by South Carolina's Jackie Schaefer to cut off that long pass. Klein, good job tipping that away. Griffiths tips it back to Walkling, and guess who has it again? Walkling, nice move there. And she is heavily guarded by Rebecca Cook. But it'll be out of bounds now. Throw into to South Carolina. And there's Coach Santoro looking on. This would be a big win for his team if they can find a way to win this one. South Carolina trying to keep themselves unbeaten on the year. NC State coming off a 1-1 tie against East Carolina. And Coach Santoro talked about he felt like they outplayed the Pirates, but again, made a mistake. East Carolina made them pay for it, and then some of their decisions late were not on par to what he was necessarily wanting. But he felt like they learned from it, and they outshot, just like they have today, outshot the Pirates. Now Rankin, it's knocked down, was able, as she was being knocked down, to tip it over to Schuster. And NC State trying to find the seam here, leading 1-0. Schuster let it go for a second. South Carolina will get possession. Now Jalissa Harris helped work it up the field. Here's Chang. Lauren Chang. She'll work it now to Riley Tanner. Tanner has one goal, centering it Right, here comes Pinkham. Pinkham, she'll let it rip, and it's just high off the top of the net. And it looked like it was out of bounds, but we play on.
Good effort on her part.
Now this is a chance for NC State to counter. And it goes out of bounds, and the throw-in will go to South Carolina.
And I think it's key for South Carolina to get Chang more on the ball. She's obviously a very dynamic player, very skilled, and she can find those seams really well.
And he just showed the replay. It just hit the front of it. It looked like it hit the top from here. Now Chang, she'll shoot. Good job by Butler blocking the shot. Traps it with her foot. And South Carolina starting to turn it up a notch. And the chances are coming a little bit more frequently for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, they are. They're definitely coming in waves, though. So they went 2 minutes hard, and then they kind of got away from it. Now they're coming back.
Here's Keogh chasing down, and her and Wark will battle. Wark knocks it away, and that'll be a goal kick for the Wolfpack. And it looks like we're going to have some substitutions here. Ella Bonner will check in here for Madison Klein. And I think you could kind of see Coach Santoro a little bit of a reverse there, putting him your veteran defender for the last 30 minutes as opposed to taxing her through the first 15.
And Klein also played really, really well when she came in, so you probably want to just keep her in there.
And so there's a long pass intercepted by the Gamecocks, Balazzo. Now Griffiths getting tangled up with Francis Ann Matisse. That one goes out of bounds off of South Carolina. Throw in NC State. 29 minutes and change. 29 and a quarter left in this one. NC State leading 1-0. South Carolina certainly on the attack. And there's a chance here. There's a counter for them. But Ella Bonner's right there. Butler kind of seemed to pass right to South Carolina. And now Cook, the Illinois product, getting in on the action. Here's Chang. Chang.
Once again, Chang on the ball with a great ball to the outside.
And here's Zulo. Good defense by the Pack. Griffiths knocks it away. Harris now to Cook. Chang circles it around. Stops on a dime. Now here's Wark. Back to Chang. Chang's got a look. Nice job by the Pack to cut her off. Keogh keeps it out of the box. And here comes Porter.
Great interception by Porter.
Porter. Now to Blackwood. Blackwood to Butler. Butler up the field.
Great ball.
Got a step. Rankin. Rankin gets behind the defense. Rankin shoots. She scores!
Well done. Great composure.
Got an assist and a goal, and the Pack lead the 10th-ranked Gamecocks 2-0. Unbelievable turn of events here. South Carolina looked like they were about to put one in.
And that's why NC State is excited to have Rankin back. She's able to get in behind the defense, push by her defender, cut her off, and have enough composure to place that in the back of the net.
Huge goal for Rankin. Her 12th of her NC State career. And NC State with 28 minutes to go, leading 2-0 against the 10th-ranked team in the country.
The Pack has to be excited right now.
Unbelievable play by NC State. Now Wooten clears it out. And now South Carolina's really going to be on their heels as Francis Ann Matisse getting a charge of, it's accidental, but they call it a handball, so State will have the free kick. South Carolina, very game bunch. But Coach Santoro did say they're a team that if you can get on top of them because of their style of play, and here's the goal again by Rankin. Again, nice job there. She had a lot of ways to go. Just basically beat her on what is our near side. And that one goes out of bounds for an attempt to Keogh. And now here comes Ryan Garris, who has checked in, Shelly Smith's squad. NC State 2-0 advantage here.
And this is where you're going to want to definitely see a push from USC with 25 minutes left, having to score 2 goals to tie it up. They're going to have to do something a little bit different or apply a little bit more pressure on the ball in order to concede possession and go to goal.
Well, Cook tips it up the field. Jenna Butler right there. So you think NC State changes up their style here, maybe plays back a little bit, or?
I think they keep doing what they're doing. I think if they change it up, it might allow for some more success for USC. So I think they keep doing what they're doing. Obviously, don't be, making some serious runs out of the back, but be a little bit more conservative in your back line. But in terms of attack and everything else in the field, keep doing what you're doing.
25 and change here to go. It looks like NC State will have some changes in just a second. There's a long volley that goes off of South Carolina. And to tell you the excellence of Krasowski's career, again, she's a junior, 3 years. It's her 47th game. As Maxine Blackwood will take a seat, as Anna Toohey will check in.
And that's a great sub. Toohey is just very dynamic. When she came in the first half, she was able to do a lot of things attacking-wise on the ball.
As Kirsten Von Klaar, a freshman from Kannapolis, in as well for Coach Santoro's squad. And that one goes out of bounds. It'll be now NC State's possession. The only goal the other night against Clemson came from Chang. We'll see if she can keep her streak going. She'll try to chase down Butler.
And she's played really well this game, too.
And there's King, and she's off sides. And King, I think she knew she was to begin with. Was just thinking they wouldn't call it.
Which sometimes they don't.
And so, down to 24 minutes in this one. As that one goes off the toe of Alexa Barr, who has 8 goals. Last year, she had 8 goals. So we know she's got it in her to get one in the back of the net. Michaela Van Manen also in for NC State. She had a very effective first half. And King will head that one back to Van Manen. And Wark intercepts that pass. Here's Chang. Chang, good feed up in front. Nice job by Wooten.
And once again, Chang is making some great plays, able to play those into the seams. But Wooten did a great job of coming out onto that ball.
A lot of times, had she let the ball bounce out like that, it could have been disastrous. But because no one else was home, she was able to play that bounce. And Wark will kick it out of bounds on the far side. She was being bodied up by Von Klaar. Has played in 1 game this year, getting her 2nd game of action. Here's Bonner being chased by Barr. Here's Walkling. Walkling has 2 Gamecocks around her. And the challenge by Chang almost worked. And now Bonner will clear it out as Francis Ann Matisse clears it back to Krasowski. As Toohey tried to challenge that, almost got to it. And here's a deep pass that'll go to nobody but will trickle to Wooten.
And again, NC State's pressure all over the field is causing USC. No, they didn't cough it up there, but they gave it back to NC State there. So good job on NC State pressuring the ball all over the field today.
So it will be Gamecock throw-in. It looks like there may be another substitution here, and that's one thing in their advantage. At least South Carolina is the depth of this team. As Askew, up the field she goes, Barr, and Chang's cut off by Butler. That one will carry him off the head of Askew. King bodied up from behind. Nice job there by Pinkham to play her off. Here's Askew. They've got a little bit of an attack here. Cut off by Bonner on the centering pass. Up the field. Nice job there by NC State to continue to challenge and not give them any opportunities here. As that one, they try to get it to Ann Matisse. And to no avail as it went out of bounds. So just under 21 minutes to go. NC State with a 2-0 advantage.
And yes, USC is subbing a lot, but we need these subs to come in and change the dynamic of the game.
And South Carolina has not trailed this year at all. So they're getting a little test here, and I don't think they'll use this as an excuse, but two of their best players are not playing. One in Iceland to play in World Cup action. The other just got done with it. Here's NC State. Just missed. Tui cranked one and just missed outside.
Good take. Good take by her.
There's Pinkham up the field to Chang. And Chang was going to let it go, and it stayed on the line. And that'll be NC State possession. And the new player in, Claire Griffiths for South Carolina, the redshirt freshman. And Milazzo. And here's Garris. Garris has got a little bit of a run here. Garris, good job there by Schuster to keep her outside the box. And it'll be a goal kick for NC State. And it looks like Zira King will take a seat.
And the Griffiths are going to be in the center of the park together. Paige.
They have to get a picture of that. I'm sure
Claire.
The family would really enjoy to see that. We'll see if they go toe-to-toe at any point. They're now very close to one another.
Marking each other right now.
Yeah. As that one's headed forward, Van Manen knocked off. As Schaefer gets in front. You think they'll even speak out there is the question.
I would think so.
They're not even looking at each other now.
Had the opportunity to play with both of them on a summer team, and they both have great personalities, so I'm sure they're saying something or talking to each other at some point.
As that one's put up in front. Chang just missed on an open net. Actually, it was Barr who missed.
And that's just what they needed.
That was a wide open attempt. That would have cut the lead in half. And another attempt, another counter, just blossomed out of nothing. And she missed the chance to make it a 2-1 ball game. Tough break for South Carolina.
Definitely tough. And USC has definitely had a lot more opportunities this half. And they've had more spurts of success. So they should keep battling.
And Tui literally almost running through Wark. So Van Manen with it. Van Manen. Von Clore. Back to Van Manen. Van Manen up the field. Almost got it through to Tui. And here's Pinkham. Can't save it. And so NC State will have a throw in deep in South Carolina's side of the field. And Keogh just quickly gets it into Butler. NC State leading 2-0. 16 and a quarter minutes to go here.
Great ball.
As that tip forward. And that's almost turned over. Van Manen was just inches away. She'll challenge Krasowski. Krasowski able to not really have her bother her that much. And now here comes Chang again. Chang, as Barr looks like she's well offside, and they'll call it. And so it'll be NC State possession.
If NC State wants to keep this game scoreless, they definitely need to keep an eye on Chang. She definitely has been their playmaker for this game.
You can see South Carolina's coaches trying to make some adjustments here. And Shelly Smith has built a great program there. And there's Wooten. That's like the second or third time that Wooten has been told by the official to get it cranked up. Here's Chang again. Her and Butler battling. Nice job there.
Great turn.
She gets free. Van Manen. She'll find Griffiths. Griffiths down the side. Here's Tui. Been very impressed with Tui here this afternoon. And Tui, a freshman from Winston-Salem, played 35 minutes earlier this year against Monmouth.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't play like a freshman. She goes at players. She attacks.
Now here comes Keogh. Keogh centering. And that's headed out. Chang will just get rid of it. Now Bonner. She'll save it from going out of bounds, and it's too late. It was right in front of the South Carolina bench. NC State leading this one. Leading the 10th ranked team in the country, as we have a few substitutions here. As Zierra King back after a short break.
And this is now where you see Centura making subs, making sure her legs are fresh.
Rankin and Blackwood also back in. See, in college soccer, you could come in and come out. Unlike in international play, once you're out, you're out. And South Carolina with some more changes. Dominique Moxie, a sophomore from Grayson, Georgia. It looks like we may have an injured player, as Blackwood literally just came back in, and I don't know if she's going to go out. She might have gotten kneed.
Yeah, I think she just got hit. Hopefully she'll be able to walk that one off.
And so Pinkham will come out.
It's interesting, though. You see South Carolina has a lot of subs going in and out, but I wonder if this is good for them because, you know, they're not necessarily, or they haven't been able to get a rhythm this game.
Here comes Moxie. Moxie. As she was trying to get tangled up with Keogh, and she will lose that bout. Again, Moxie brings some offense to Coach Smith's squad. Very fresh. She's super athletic. Very skilled. As is a lot of players on both teams. Now, here's Griffiths for a second. Trying, she's screaming that she's open. Here's Moxie. She'll center it.
Good ball.
And there's Griffiths getting the loose carom outside the box. She'll center it again. That's
Another
headed
good
out
ball
by NC State. Jalissa Harris tries to tip it forward, and it'll be out. But Sutton Jones able near midfield to get it back. Rankin will challenge, or rather Blackwood will challenge her. Now Rankin. Rankin almost got it away from her. Walkling will challenge Harris. And now they'll get it outside the box. Tanner's got space. Tanner centering it. Chang, save!
Great save.
Wooten says, no, no, no. But again, a great pass into the zone, and Chang nearly put it in the back of the net. The one-timer. Now Wooten. That one will get away from King. And here's a skew quickly to Griffiths.
Good pressure.
Good challenge. And the player for NC State is down. That's Walkling. And I wonder if that's an exhaustion thing, more or less. Here's Moxie. Moxie's got some real estate. Tries to sneak one in. And to no avail. As one of the new players in is Gina Giovinco. 11 minutes to go here, NC State with a shocking 2-0 lead. King and Askew battling. King tips it away from her. King battles again.
Good battle by King.
The challenge is going to be won there, but it's out of bounds. Nice job there by South Carolina's defender, Jackie Schaefer, to keep that away from King, because King would have been off to the races. There's a ball tipped away at Rankin. Nearly would have been able to at least take it in for a chance. But then as it bounced away from her, she literally couldn't find it as it went up in the air. Here's Walkling. Good job there by Wooten clearing it out. Now Krasowski has had a rough afternoon compared to what she's been dishing out this year. First 2 goals of the year were surrendered here today, and there's a trip.
This can be a dangerous opportunity for South Carolina.
Is Riley Tanner the one that was knocked down? Tanner's been very active here this second half. So a free kick for Shelly Smith's squad. And we'll see what shakes out here as we're down to the last 9:15. There's a set piece. There's Moxie chasing it down outside the box. Moxie, one move, centering it.
Great ball.
That's all the way in. It'll score.
What a great ball.
And the first career goal
Good header.
for Claire Griffiths.
Good header by Griffiths.
She had her first assist against College of Charleston, and she gets her first career goal, and just like that, it's 2-1. We got a ball game, folks. Again, nice job as that one bounced its way in. And Griffiths gets the goal. South Carolina on the board. And now we got a ball game here in the final 9 minutes. NC State. See if they answer here. Here's Rankin. Rankin. Her pass trying to slip through to Blackwood. Knocked away. And now
Moxie again on the outside. She definitely has set a statement since she's been in the match.
that one slips through Taylor Porter as they were trying to feed it to Giovinco. And some of the South Carolina fans here not especially pleased with Wooten's delay tactics. Just the gamesmanship. So Wooten will punt that one out of bounds. And so South Carolina will retain possession. And it looks like we may have Ella Bonner come back in for NC State as she makes her way towards midfield. Coming up on 8 minutes to go here in Raleigh in this ACC-SEC matchup. South Carolina just scored. Paige's sister, Claire, scores her first career goal here to make it 2-1. Now they'll have it deep in NC State territory. Here's Tanner. Tanner centering to no avail. And now Ella Bonner will check back in for NC State.
And that's exactly what USC wanted to see. They're making all these subs, and to have one of their subs, Mexi, make that great play and have Claire have that goal, another sub off the bench, is big time for them.
And then looks like we may have another sub in just a second. I can't quite make out who it is, but either way, Rankin tipped it forward. And Blackwood, unfortunately, was having her momentum go the opposite way. Rankin tipped it. And so it's 2-1. NC State trying to hang on to get the win. South Carolina trying to tie this thing up.
And now you see NC State chasing a little bit. And South Carolina on the flip side putting pressure on the ball and making NC State cough the ball up in their half of the field.
There's Griffiths. Missed on a chance to get it to Tanner. Tanner chasing down as Wooten beats her to it. There's a header by South Carolina. Here's Page. Page wins the challenge there, but it trickles to her sister, Claire. Here's Lauren Chang.
And again, that's who you don't want on the ball, because Chang is just simply able to just place the ball and seam it through with her passes on her teammates' feet.
So Moxie will take a seat, as well as Giovinco, as Zulo and Alexa Barr back in for South Carolina. Got a brief rest as they come down the backstretch here. 5:40 to go here in Raleigh. King tips that forward. It stays in. Chasing it down is Blackwood, but it goes out of bounds, and South Carolina will retain possession. As Jackie Schaefer was going to get the ball, South Carolina just kept playing. Askew threw it in. Might have to let Jackie know that. Now, they didn't exactly throw it in from the correct spot.
And that's what you're doing when you're trying to score a goal in 5 minutes. You're just go, 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 go.
And so South Carolina again quickly throwing it in. Here come the Gamecocks again. Griffiths in the middle, falls down, trying to receive the lob pass. And now Askew. That goes to NC State's Jenna Butler. Butler will clear it. But now Schaefer. She gets it to Zulo. Zulo getting into the middle. And she'll let one rip. Wooten right there saying no, 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 shutting down that shot attempt there.
And that's a good shot by Zulo. A nice strike with her left. Good snag by Wooten, but some goalies might have let that pop out, and then players are running onto it for the back.
And Madison Klein back
shot.
in. 4 minutes to go here from Raleigh. NC State certainly sure they were disappointed in the tie against East Carolina the other night. Had plenty of opportunities, but just couldn't put it in the back of the net. So to be up in this one with 3:50 to go, certainly trying to close the door and finish this out. And one of the bigger wins in Coach Santoro's era. And here's Bonner. Bonner to Blackwood. And Blackwood just jockeying for position as Bonner kicks it off of Tanner and out of bounds.
Yes,
so go ahead.
This definitely be a big win for NC State, as South Carolina has dominated the series and the times that they've played.
So Chrissy Schuster, after a brief break, back in for NC State as we're down to 3:11 here on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. And that's the only sub here. Looks like a State player, Ella Bonner, that is, tying her shoe. And they're just waiting for everything to get set, so the whistle will blow, and we're ready to go. Final 3 minutes. And here's Chang, had it knocked away by the fresh Schuster. Klein. And now Blackwood to Bonner. Bonner to Klein. They may try to get it to the other side. Here's Walkling.
And you can see NC State at this point is just trying to keep the ball, keep possession in South Carolina's half.
As that one will be kicked out of bounds. Throw in for NC State. As we're down to 2:36 to go. Again, this would be a monumental win for NC State. You beat a team that made it to the Final Four last year and the Elite Eight the year before that. Blackwood with possession. Trying to keep it here as she's bodied up by two. Gamecocks gets free. Schuster couldn't keep it in as that's kicked out. And NC State with another throw in.
And they keep throwing it to Blackwood because she does such a good job of keeping her defenders on her backside. And she's a pretty physical player and able to hold people off.
And down to 157. South Carolina just frustrated right now, not able to even get an attempt here. Coming up under 2 minutes. And a yellow card for delay of game. And so we'll see who they call the yellow card on, whether it will be Ella Bonner. So the yellow card is, again, assessed to her.
You definitely have to be careful about delaying the game in the last couple of minutes.
And so here's Paige Griffiths with her sister right on her. Now 1:30 to go. South Carolina will have the ball back. Can they tie it up here? Can the Gamecocks tie it up and get this thing into an extra frame?
They got to get out of this corner.
They try to. Walkling intercepts. Walkling has a chance here. Gets in between two defenders. She's cut off. And now here's Jalissa Harris. Now they're down to 1:05 to go. Askew up the field. Finds Barr. Barr's a goal-scoring threat, but Bonner able to get there. Bonner clears it out of bounds. And we're down under 1 minute here as NC State trying to pull the upset here this afternoon. South Carolina in the throw-in right to Bonner. And the Gamecocks still putting the pressure on. Sutton Jones throws it in. Tanner back to Jones. There's one towards the goal. Askew. Good job there by King.
Well
Converging
done by
late.
King to sacrifice her body on that play.
And they're going to give a goal kick down. King is down. Askew arguing it should be a corner kick. And they stop the clock with 23 seconds to go. And King, it looked like she might have turned an ankle there. And she does get up very gingerly as the training staff walks over. And she might have just tweaked an ankle. Hopefully she's okay and she won't miss any time moving forward. But there's 23 seconds left. NC State will have a goal kick. And a great job by King sacrificing herself there.
Definitely a great job on her part. Not sure what would have happened if she wasn't there. Her player definitely had an opportunity on goal. So great job on her to sacrifice and lay it out.
And there's Coach Smith looking on as King will jog off. I think she may even stay here under her own power. I don't doubt she, again, it looked like she kind of tweaked herself, her ankle or knee or whatever. She fell off kind of awkwardly. And they put the time back on the clock at 23 seconds. So here's Wooten. Wooten, as the whistle blows. And the clock started. They may have to put time back on the clock. As Anna Tui will come back in. They put the time back on the clock. South Carolina not happy with it, but they did put the time back on. It was 23 seconds
that's the right
to go.
Time. Yeah, 23, 24 seconds.
So Anna Tui comes in for Sierra King, who walks off the field to the far side. And so we finally get this all. Can they do it? There's Wooten as the clock down to 15 seconds. There's a skew up the field to Chang. Chang with 10 seconds. Here's Zulo. Zulo centers it. Chang with a chance. Got away from her as Griffith clears it out, and NC State has beaten South Carolina, the number 10 team in the country, by the final score of 2-1.
Great win by NC State. They played really well the whole game with the exception of that goal by South Carolina. They played really well. South Carolina definitely made a push towards the end and are unlucky not to get that last goal to tie it up.
Big win for Coach Santoro and his team. And again, South Carolina certainly a game bunch. NC State showing that kind of making up for the tie against ECU. For color analyst Dina Floyd. Great job, Dina. I'm Chris Hook saying so long from Raleigh, where NC State beats the 10th ranked team of the country, South Carolina, 2-1. To watch the entire replay, as well as any other contest on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Happy Sunday, everybody.